Hey guys, I know you must be wondering, what got me to come out from not uploading very much? Well, it's actually a video from screenrants, the top 25 most powerful Godzilla villains, because there's so much lies and idiocracy in it, it's just not even funny. And I just have to show you it, and I'll explain the problems as they come along. Alright, let's just start getting into this.
We don't know about you, but we couldn't be more excited about Godzilla King of the Monsters. The trailers have been great, and positive early reviews point to this being a total blast. But before we see Godzilla slug it out with his monster buddies, we thought we'd take a look back at the history of the entire series. With over 50 years and 30-plus movies under his belt, Godzilla has racked up an impressive rogues gallery, many of whom you'll be seeing in theaters this weekend. Stick with us as we count down 25 of the very best.
Now, I want to say very, very quickly, and I know if you were going to say this, that it's in no particular order. Well, that's something you have to say at the beginning of the video when you're doing the introduction. That's some of the criteria. And they did no criteria searching, or the article is linked to, or in the description. So, that does not hold up, because in every other case, it's from best to, well, in this case, worst to best. So, don't even try to use that argument, please.
What radioactivity?
Coming dead last on our list is the ill-advised knockoff that is the 1998 American Godzilla. Known by hardcore fans simply as Zilla, this attempted franchise launcher was
The only reason hardcore fans call him that is because officially that is his name. He is not Godzilla. And yeah, so there's that, but I do appreciate the fact that you at least mention it and they just keep calling him Godzilla. So you get props there.
a major disappointment. Zilla's design is generic, ditching everything Japanese about the original while still failing to deliver anything uniquely Western. And if you think we're being too hard on Zilla, you should know that the OG Godzilla agrees with us. How do we know? Well, it turns out the 1998 Godzilla was not Zilla's final appearance. In Godzilla Final Wars, Zilla makes a short cameo. After doing battle with the original Japanese Godzilla, Zilla is thrown into the Sydney Opera House and quickly explodes in a fiery inferno.
This part doesn't have to do with Screen Rant. This is actually just a fun fact. He was actually the only CGI model in 2004's Final Wars. And I just thought that's funny. Everything else was super.
It's pretty sweet. Godzilla may be relentlessly destructive, a killer of monsters and humans alike, and a menace to local infrastructure, but he's much lesser known for his worst crime, being a deadbeat dad. Baby Godzilla started life as an egg guarded by Rodan, who we'll get to later, and was pretty cute in his younger years. He was even known to sing a song telepathically with the neighborhood children. But as the series went on, Junior grew into a terror in his own right, even if he was still living in his father's shadow. Armed with atomic breath and an impressive family name, Junior is nearly killed by a battle with Destroya before being revived by his father's atomic.
A few issues and not putting things out here I want to correct real quick. First off, after they showed Baby Godzilla, for some reason, they only showed Burning Godzilla, which I guess they assumed was him, but no, that was still the original Godzilla. So, like, what, 5 seconds of actual footage in your own section? That's kind of stupid. And he's not actually Godzilla's son, he's just of the same species and adopted as such. Just pointing that out real quick.
Atomic breath. Next up on our bizarre tour of Godzilla's monster pals may be the oddest one of all, a character who isn't a monster. Jet Jaguar was a strange, misguided attempt to put a more traditional Japanese superhero into the Godzilla Kaijuverse. His brief foray into the franchise results in some of the weirdest moments, including his theme song performed by a group of school children. Jet Jaguar. But what might be even weirder than Jet Jaguar's on-screen appearances are his off-screen origins. As it turns out, Jet was the result of a contest from Godzilla's production company, Toho. Toho challenged any children who were fans of Godzilla to design a new character, and Jet Jaguar was the design that won. Well, that explains a lot, actually.
Oh boy, Mr. Jaguar. Well, first off, he was, yes, you are correct, he was a part of contest, but to create their own franchise. But midway filming, they kind of realized that this probably wouldn't go well, so they add Godzilla in hopes to produce a profit and kickstart the series, but it didn't work. That's why Godzilla felt like he was a guest star in his quote unquote own movie. So I'm just pointing that out real quick. Also, not that bad. I mean, he's stupid, but he's not that bad.
Space Godzilla. Thought we'd just gloss over Space Godzilla, huh? Everyone's favorite mutant clone of Godzilla from outer space, Space Godzilla was originally a clone, but not much more is known about his origins. Having the presence of mind to try and take over the world himself, Space Godzilla ranks among the smartest kaiju monsters, even managing to kidnap baby Godzilla.
Okay, so if you couldn't tell, I skipped a few. I'll skip the ones I don't have a problem with, but this one I have a huge problem with. First off, he's way too long to list. He's a very, very powerful being. Second off, his origins are not unknown. He was space G-cells who accidentally inhaled some pollen from Biollante when he went into space. She went into space. And it shouldn't be this low on the list. Refer to what I said at the beginning if you still think this isn't in order.
He's also unsurprisingly very powerful, defeating Godzilla in their first encounter thanks to his space crystal's powers. He was only vanquished with the help of Mogira. To top it all off, he has the telekinetic ability to fly. Despite his powerful abilities, Space Godzilla was never particularly popular, appearing only in 1994's.
He was very popular. I'm just gonna say that right now. The only reason he wasn't in our movie is he came at a bad time, honestly. So, but he's popular with fans, and don't get that confused.
Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, and occasionally popping up on the Godzilla TV show. Space Godzilla is one monster you don't want to mess with. We can't talk on, we're looking at a goofy-looking guy who's easy to underestimate, Titanosaurus. Even ignoring his silly long neck and general appearance, Titanosaurus just seems like a nice lizard. He only battles Godzilla once, and even then only did it because he was being mind-controlled by Mechagodzilla.
He was not being mind-controlled by Mechagodzilla. He was being mind-controlled by aliens who were using a cyborg girl to mind-control Mechagodzilla. And they also just happened to be mind-controlling him. I'm just pointing that out because the scientist who originally discovered him was working with them. So, yeah, I'm just saying that. It's kind of confusing, but not really. But get it right, please.
Titanosaurus appears to be a peaceful water-dwelling dragon, only fighting when he's under the kaiju equivalent of peer pressure. Imagine the strength of his neck, the strength of his teeth. Titanosaurus is great, but his dentist might even deserve this slot more than him. Now that is a hardcore design, and like the design might suggest, Destroya is pure evil. Appearing in several different forms during 1995's Godzilla vs. Destroya, Destroya is known as one of Godzilla's toughest opponents. Starting life, weirdly enough, as a group of small crustaceans, Destroya is mutated by a device called the Oxygen Destroyer, a superweapon designed by humans to kill Godzilla. Destroya is hyper-intelligent.
The Oxygen Destroyer was not made to destroy Godzilla.
And intentionally causes harm and destruction rather than being a mindless force of nature like many other kaiju. Worst of all, Destroya kills baby Godzilla maliciously and with forethought. That's first-degree Godzilla murder!
See, look, now you're contradicting yourself within the same video. Because earlier you said he almost killed him, and now you said he did kill him, which is true. But you still said two different things, and one is clearly wrong. So, just saying.
Monster, this guy is bad to the bone. Or should we say exoskeleton. And if you thought crustaceans would be the least intimidating thing that Godzilla movies made scary, you'd be wrong. Meet Biollante, a kaiju birthed from a rose. It's all very simple. A scientist spliced the DNA of his dead daughter into that of a rose, and then when a volcano started erupting, he put some of Godzilla's DNA in.
When the volcano started erupting, they all knew Godzilla was coming back from Godzilla 1985. So that's why he did it. He was originally supposed to make an anti-radiation bacteria, which he did, but not in this at first. So, yeah.
To it to make sure it didn't die. It's what any dad would do. Originally battling Godzilla as a giant sentient rose, Biollante unsurprisingly lost, but she returned in a much more intimidating final form. Still, even a scary production of Little Shop of Horrors was not enough to defeat Godzilla, and he blew up Biollante with his atomic breath.
Biollante didn't blow up. He turned into pollen, went into space, and that's how Godzilla's space was made.
Another character on the sillier side, we can't help but love Megalon for the originality of his design. A bug-like creature with drills for hands, Megalon is a monster that's easily confused and tricked. But we still wouldn't want to run into him in a dark alley. The god of a literally underground society, Megalon is a lot less impressive above ground. Armed with a lightning horn, the ability to spit napalm bombs, and of course his drill hands, Megalon never uses his vast array of weapons very effectively. Despite super speed, Megalon was easily defeated by Godzilla.
He was never a god, he was just a tool to use.
And if you've made it this far, you know that's saying a lot. Gigan is truly a classic monster. Gigan's look is the perfect mix of silly and scary. He kinda reminds us of the half-axe, half-chicken character from Quest for Camelot. Anybody? Quest for Camelot? Gigan's got sharp objects everywhere on his body, including a buzzsaw on his belly, which is clearly ridiculous, but can also do real damage. He got kind of a cool makeover in 2004's Godzilla Final Wars, which made even the silliest aspects of his design feel imposing. A space dinosaur who was turned into a cyborg by
Not a space dinosaur.
aliens, it's no wonder Gigan is one of the most enduring characters in the MonsterVerse. Scientists have done the research, and it's been proven there is no cooler word in the English language than Mothra. The queen of the monsters to Godzilla's king, Mothra is definitely one of the kinder kaiju, often fighting for humanity rather than against it. Armed with psychic abilities, super strong silk, and powerful.
They didn't show fully grown Mothra at all during this entire clip except once for like less than 5 seconds.
And King of the Monsters, we're excited to see what Mike Dougherty and company come up with. It's tough being the United Nations in the Godzilla-verse. You're supposed to show the power of what's possible when the most powerful nations on Earth work together, but how are you supposed to look powerful when a giant lizard humiliates you at every turn? You have to form the United Nations Godzilla Countermeasure Center, of course.
The Mechagodzilla they are showing is not the one the UN created at all. The one being shown is actually from an alien race,
And then, what else is there to do but create a giant human-piloted Godzilla robot called Mechagodzilla? Armed with a whole ton of robotic weapons, there isn't a ton to say about Mechagodzilla. It's all in the name. But it might be this simplicity in both name and concept that's made Mechagodzilla such an enduring and popular character. It's a robot Godzilla. It's hard to get much more awesome than that. King Ghidorah is truly one of the most iconic characters in the Godzilla-verse. His design might look goofy in the earlier films, but it quickly evolves into something imposing, and dare we say it, regal. In the trailers for King of the Monsters, Ghidorah looks incredible, an awesome godlike character ready to fight Godzilla with the full force and fury of his 3 heads. Originally popping up in his own film 1964's Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, Ghidorah's origin changes from film to film. But he was first depicted as an evil space dragon looking to conquer humanity. Originally brought to life through elaborate puppetry, Ghidorah's CGI incarnation is a little less restricted in his movements. Like Ghidorah, Rodan's design started out looking
Rodan should not be ahead of Ghidorah in this.
ridiculous, but evolved over time into something that looked more sleek and dangerous. Debuting in 1964, Rodan was originally a mere minor character, but has become one of the most integral kaiju in the Godzilla canon. Inspired by a pterodactyl, Rodan became more and more dragon-like, though his beak and iconic head shape remain intact. His origin is pretty stock as far as kaiju go. Stop us if you heard this one. Rodan is an ancient dinosaur living underground who's mutated by radiation and became a giant. Despite the boring origin, Rodan is a skilled fighter, using not only his beak and talons, but an atomic fire ray and super.
Okay, there's only like 2 more sections left after this, so I'm not gonna bother. Next is Kong, who should not be this high either, especially considering that he only won because of his popularity at the time, and the fact that he somehow got Frankenstein's powers and script rewrites. Or that's not the point, I'm just saying that this list has a lot of flaws that basic research could fix. And I'm just here to point that out. I mean, no harm to Screen Rants, it's just annoying how badly they messed some of the stuff up. And there are multiple different canons, by the way. There's Heisei, Showa, Millennia, and Legendary. And then Shin Godzilla is doing its own thing right now. I'm just pointing that out too for you people in the comments that from the screenrants video I noticed. But well, that's about it, honestly. So I guess I'll see y'all next video if I ever make one.